Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Hello, everyone. Hi, Kim, and welcome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
So fun to have you all here. And this is we really see this as sitting beside each other around a campfire at a table. This is a conversation we're all in together. And so we will share contemplations. You take what you love, leave what doesn't work, tweak as you like. That's how Kim and I have approached everything that we've contemplated over the last several decades of these types of conversations. And that's really what works for us and what we highly encourage. So we thought today we'd talk about discernment around when we believe we are receiving signs from the universe. I have somebody recently in my life who is going through a really big life change. And as she was going through these big life changes, she was continually hitting roadblocks. And she kept saying to me, I guess it's a sign. I guess it's meant to be. I guess it's a sign. I guess it's meant to be. And it irked me because, she was sharing with me that her desire was different than what she, was interpreting to be the path that the universe was directing her on, or God was directing her on. And so it really bugged me that there was this interpretation that, the universe was taking her down a path that she didn't want to go down, but she was just going to have to accept it as it was. And this is a very complex discussion, but trust that if you're listening to this, you're up for this conversation, because the discernment can be tough, right? But we have a lot over the years, over the last couple of decades, heard that it's a sign from the universe, it's a sign from God, it's a sign from nature and life that this is the way it's meant to be, and yet we've had many contemplations in our own lives, and also in mentors that we followed, where we don't necessarily believe that. Sometimes there may be a sign, and what if perhaps instead it was a moment of an opportunity to really go back within and really assess what it is that you really desire. So I'll share, my own personal example. I have one daughter and I'm aged, so I'm fertility challenged. And so I've been on this path. She's 7 since she was 6, of really, working through all of her fertility treatments. And I've got crazy stories of things that have happened even just recently as I've continued to pursue this path. And things like we had going through IVF and we had embryos, and all of a sudden the machine was faulty and all of our embryos were lost. And
Stop
then,
it.
yeah, yeah, this was probably 5 years ago. And a lot, and I know a lot of people, like I wasn't the only one impacted, but I know a lot of people, because it's a local clinic, who really went into, instead of looking at, okay, well, what's my next step, went into, okay, I want to fight, I want to fight, I want to get money out of it, I want, which is fine, it's your choice. But I personally went back into, okay, well, what is it that I truly desire here? I didn't desire a legal fight. I desired fertility. I desired to get pregnant. And so the clinic said, we'll redo everything for free. It's very expensive to do. And that's the path that I took. I have an egg donor, now, like, that's all behind me now. And now, in the last couple of years, I have an egg donor, somebody who's donating my eggs. And she was in the country, but not from the country. And then all of a sudden her partner picked up and took her kid and went back to their original country and said, I'm not coming back. I'm not bringing your kid back. So now the egg donor's gone. And so now I'm dealing with that. And those are just two stories out of many. But, instead of saying, okay, well, I guess it's a sign from the universe that it's not going to happen for me, or it's not meant to happen for me. Instead, what I do is I look within and say, okay, do I still desire this? Do I still desire to have a second child? And the answer until today is yes. Maybe tomorrow it'll be no, but until today it's yes. And so I keep moving forward. And that doesn't mean that I will have a second child, right? But either way, I feel that desire within, and that tells me that there is either it's going to happen or there's something beautiful in the journey that will be
Mm.
given to me, and that's what I trust. So there is a bit of surrender there too, and we've talked a lot about surrender too. I am okay with either outcome, and yet I still feel that desire and that choice to move forward in that journey. And I think Kim, you and I have lots of other examples other than that, where it's like, how do you discern between is the universe giving me a sign, and are there situations where we have really felt that versus this is part of the journey, getting taking me to that desire, to that experience, or to a fulfillment of something. And there are going to be ups and downs along the way, and can we continue on the journey and continue checking in and really cultivate the ability to assess our own desires and to really feel into, well, what is this? Is it that it's a roadblock that's, don't get on that flight because it might crash? Or is it just, I am becoming a new person through this journey? I will be required to be a different person once I arrive at the end of this journey. And so this is part of the journey that will help me become that right person.
I think uh, when you said you're not attached to the outcome and it's actually the journey, that's the gold right there. And so what's actually true for you today, and because you checked in, because like you said, a lot of people would go, well, I guess it's just not meant to be. I've tried all these things and it's not meant to be, so they give up. However, in doing the check-in of, hey, what's actually really true for me? Is this something I still really am choosing? Yes, no, yes, no. Oh, I'm getting a yes. And like you said, whether it shows up or not, perhaps it's a lot about the journey and who you be in the journey, like as in how you show up in the journey. And surrendering and knowing that either outcome, whether it happens or doesn't happen, I think that, like for me, as you said that, it was kind of like, it's the journey and not being attached to the outcome,
Mhm.
right? And
Exactly.
yeah, there are going to be bumps along the road. Can we be with the bumps, or can we only be with the sunshine? There's beauty in the rain. The earth needs the rain, right? And I really truly have this sense that for myself, the more that I can be with those obstacles, or whatever you want to call them, aren't even obstacles anymore. It's just like, oh, I got a boogie on my nose. I'm going to flick it off. I don't want it there. It's not going to take me out, right? And
Yeah.
and so I think that, for me, as you were saying that, it's like, yeah, the obstacles are obstacles. Are they going to take us out or not? And again, it's checking. Is this something I'm still choosing? Is this something I desire? Is this something that uh, I'm still looking to work towards, no matter what? You know, as you and I were talking before we got on the call, or the thing, um, and I was saying, maybe somebody. So let me just say, okay, so what if I would like to have 5,000 followers? If I have 5,000 followers and I have one hater, when I've only got 1,000 followers and I have one hater, and I let that take me down the rabbit hole, am I actually aligned to have 5,000? If it's true that the universe does have my back, the universe goes, we know that she's really working towards 5,000, but that one person took her down the rabbit hole. So if she has 5,000, she'll get more haters maybe. Is she able to be with that? Is she able to be with what is? Because it's about, being with all of it, being with all of it, and not ignoring it, right? Not pretending it's not there. But I think it's Rudyard Kipling who says, and treat those two imposters just the same,
Mhm.
right? So do I only celebrate when it's sunny out? Can I be with, yeah, it's going to rain tomorrow. Okay, so that just changes things for a moment. Doesn't mean I give up all my plans. But what is it that I really want to do today? Well, I was going to do a picnic. It's going to rain. Yeah, maybe no. Maybe no. Maybe I'll work around that and choose another date. Doesn't mean I give up for me, right? It's kind of like, you know, I'm on the way to the mall. I love this analogy. I'm on my way to the mall and I get a red light. So I stop. Does that mean I'm like, I guess it wasn't meant to be and I turn around and change my mind? Or do I recognize just a pause? It's just a pause, right? And so for me, this has been a big one. Again, learning the thing of, well, if it's true that the universe truly does have my back, did I really want that thing? Is that why it's not showing up? Because the universe does have my back. And when I really check in, I told everyone I would do this, that, and the other thing, and now I can't. I guess it's not meant to be. Or is it that I really didn't want to do that thing? So I wasn't being true to me, and I was just doing the autopilot thing. Again, if the universe has my back, check in. Is this something I really wanted anyway? And it's amazing because then we get to see our own potency. Ah, no wonder it didn't happen. I didn't really want it to happen.
Exactly. I love that.
Which,
And I really
yeah, go ahead.
I've really functioned from the my own belief that our desires are really the true, for me, again, a really strong indicator of what's possible for me, what's available to me. And so checking in again, and sometimes it's also like, did I really desire it, or was there a desire underneath the desire, right? So really getting clarity on what you truly desire, I think, is such a beneficial practice. And really, like, I desire something big, in terms of, a contribution on the planet, or in terms of a relationship, or in terms of a change to my body, or in terms of, financial success or whatnot. And so I do believe that any desire like that is an indication of what's available to you and what's possible for you. And anything that comes on the journey to that is really a moment of contemplation, reassessing, do I still choose this? Do I still desire it? And instead of making it mean something, which is where the narrative comes in that we've talked about in prior episodes, I can make it mean something else. Okay, this is strengthening me. Okay, this, and maybe I don't know what it is doing, because there's still the mystery of the universe and life and nature, which is, a beautiful part of it. But maybe instead of making it mean something that stops me, or makes me believe something, believe that it's not possible, or maybe making me believe something that's not so great about myself, I can move into contemplation of, okay, well, what is here for me? And if I still desire it, okay, now what? Like, how do I pivot? How do I reassess? How do I reshift to continue to move on that journey? And I don't know, Kim, if you'd be willing to share, but I really do appreciate your story from just recently when you were going on this, you were going to facilitate a retreat, right? And was it a retreat you were facilitating, or a class?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So in another province. So I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada. So thanks for that. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say to add on to what you were sharing, yeah, and when you check in, and it was a yes yesterday, and today it's a no, giving ourselves permission Yesterday it was a yes, today it's a no, without needing to do justification. Because justification is the why and the watering it down, right? So it's like, yeah, today, you know what? And when people say, oh, well, it was a yes yesterday, why is it a no today? My response to that is typically, I have no idea. It's just a no. It's just a no. They don't question that. They're not going to drill me on it, right? It's just, you know what? I have no idea. It's just a no today. It's a really strong no. And giving yourself permission, right? Giving yourself permission to be judged by others. Wow, she was a yes yesterday and she's a no today. How come? I have no idea. It's just a no. And that's me being authentic, but giving ourselves permission to change our mind. Because what is that thing? You made your bed, now lie in it. No, right? Till death do us part? I don't think so. That was yesterday,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I love
Yeah.
that.
And so, yeah, so that was really clear when you were sharing of, yeah, if you change your mind, you're not attached to the outcome. And are we
Right.
willing to be judged by others because we changed our mind? Because what's true for me yesterday, as I continue to grow and expand, might not be true for me today. Can I give myself permission to be that, regardless of others? Right? That's your core stability right there, right? And so yeah, so the
Yes.
PEI thing. So I'm in Nova Scotia, and I was going to in May this year, 2024. I had a host. So I travel and teach in the summers and in the fall, or sorry, in the spring and in the fall. So PEI is about a 3 or 4 hour drive, depending on which part of PEI. And so I had a host. We had all these people signing up for one class on Saturday and another class on Sunday, full classes. Everybody was excited. I'm all excited. Well, my God. Everything that, every obstacle that wanted to show up showed up. And it was almost as if it was going, haha, nah. And it just went on and on. Even to the night before the event, I was looking at, and I got to this place where I was like, because I was, it would have been so easy. And of course I did is this the universe, giving me a sign not to do this? And because even if the universe is giving us signs, remember, we still have choice, right? It might be like a school of 2x4 at the end of it in the face, but we do still have choice. And then we learn from that journey too, right? So, anyway, so I did the ask, and for me, I was like, everything is showing up saying no about this class. There was no ease in creating it. The host and I, we even tried to do a live Zoom to spark some, to get, to talk to people. Even that was like, and we were both like, what is happening here? And so, however, I was like, you know what? No matter what, I'm going. I'm going. And to the point that I was willing to surrender to, well, maybe the universe is trying to tell me I'm going to die on my way over. Okay, then I'm going to die on the way over. I'm going. And then I didn't die on the way over. I get there, and the host, who I had never met before other than online, first time I ever meet her in my life, she shows up in her car, and she's just pulling her hair out, losing her mind because of everything tried to stop her from showing up at the facility to unlock it and let me in so that we could teach. And to the point that she was like, I almost didn't think I was going to be able to come. And I'm like, oh, this is becoming a theme. It's becoming a theme. Well, isn't this interesting? So I got more curious than anything about what is happening here. Then the people that were coming, they were like, oh, I almost couldn't come because I couldn't get a babysitter. It was just on and on and on. It became like this thing. And I just was witnessing it and curious about it. No idea where it was going to go. And I was just going to do this class. The classes happened, jaws dropped, lives changed. So much happened in those classes. So much happened. It blew my hair back what happened in those classes, how much people shifted in their consciousness and all the stuff, all that they were willing to receive and to be. And then I was like, well, maybe it was I'm gonna die on the way back. And so I was totally surrendering to everything, even that, right? And I didn't. Here I am, right? And so I have no idea what the whole thing was about. I could make up all kinds of stuff, but I have no idea. Like, I'm not a big one on saying I was being tested or anything like that. That's not a big thing for me. Um, However, I do know that I was willing to show up no matter what. And I was willing to do whatever it took. And I did. And yeah, and so for me, it's like, yeah, if I had 5,000 followers and 100 haters, would I be able to be with that? If not, then the universe might not give me all those followers. Well, not that it won't give me, but maybe I'm not in alignment with it. I was going to PEI. I was going to PEI, and I did. And I have no regrets. And they're asking me to come back.
And it was incredible, an incredible
It was
experience.
incredible. However, had I looked at it as, oh, that's a sign from the universe, I guess it's not meant to be. But as to your story, Veronica, when I checked in, I was like, no, I'm going.
Mhm.
I'm going. And like I said, even the night before, there was another big one in my face. And I was like, I'm going. And then that one changed. And then that one changed. And so things started to fall into place. However, getting there was like, I'm on my way to the mall and there's a red light. Now what? Now what?
Exactly. Yeah, I love that story. And this is where, there's going to be a lot of, or there may be a lot of yeah buts, right? Well, I've had maybe folks have had situations where um the you know there was a sign from the universe, or there was an indication
Mm-hmm.
that there was an opportunity to redirect. You hear the stories of people about to board a plane and they get that feeling that they shouldn't, and so they don't, or you look at hindsight, right? And you think, oh, like my flight was canceled. Oh, thank God it was canceled, because that was, preventing me from something bad happening. And I think, like, in this conversation, there's a level of maturity in discernment, right? So there's discernment in checking in with your intuition. There's a maturity in checking in with your conviction. There's a maturity in checking in with your desire, right? So there's an understanding that that's already clear. That there's already a knowing of, okay, where is my conviction? Where is my intuition on this? Where is my desire on this? It's not just a blanket, like, okay, I'm going to go for everything and not engage in the universe and in what's being thrown my way. But in the two examples that you and I have shared, it's both been like, okay, let's check in, and now what? Let's check in, and now what? Let's check in, and now what? And I think that really is the clarity. And you might check in and get, oh, I'm getting a hard no on this. My intuition saying a hard no, and so that's what you follow instead of the desire to be there, right? But there's just an understanding, I
Right.
think, in this conversation of the maturity of understanding, of being able to navigate internally. And if that's not yet there, then that's where the focus can be, where we can start practicing to really understand our inner workings, our energetics, right? To understand the intuition versus the conviction versus the desire.
Yeah, and so, yeah, because as you said, it is a practice, right? And I'm looking at what would be a practice. Well, you could actually start looking at things like, I don't know. I don't play the stock market. I wouldn't know how to play the stock market, but this showed up as an example from someone before, and they said, just start to get a sense of yes, no, yes, no. But don't put any money on it. You're just
Right.
starting to learn your own intuition, right?
Yes.
Don't put any money into it, and just look. Yeah, I get a sense that that one's gonna go up, and if it doesn't, then you go, okay, keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. What? And so that could be a practice of how do you discern what is your intuition and what is a fear and what is the universe giving you a sign.
Right.
It's, it's a
It is a
really,
practice.
it is a practice. And I think that we could definitely share more on this because I'm like, yeah, let's play with this more. And yeah, one more quick example. Do you have time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A
Okay,
couple minutes.
so
Yeah.
one more quick example. So there's a lady and I, we do in-person sessions, and we were thinking that we would work with 4 individuals separately, they're private sessions. And we were thinking that we would work with 4 people, like each one of them gets an hour session, and then, we do a wisdom circle or where we share. And we were only getting 3 people, and then all of a sudden we started to get 4, and it was a little bit more than either one of us really wanted to do. And so then when we were going to do 4 again, I said to her, I said, well, truth, do you really want to work with 4? And she was like, no, 3 is more fun, right? And so when we were looking at, well, we can fit in 4, this can happen, we can do these time slots, here's the 4 people, and we had 4 people for this next one coming up. And I said, what's more fun though, if we do 3 or if we do 4? And we both went, 3. And so that is where we can go, what's actually true? Do we want 4? No. And then there it is. So the universe, if it's true that the universe has our back, is it possible that's why we kept getting 3 and not the 4? I don't know if I articulated that
You
well, but
did. You
yeah.
did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we checked in, what's actually true? Yeah, no, 3. Three's the good number. And now we have a
Yeah.
wait list instead of a fourth that was, you know,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I think that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, it all comes down to like, the practice, getting clarity around what your intuition feels like, looks like for you, what your desire feels like and looks like for you, what your conviction looks like and feels like. And so taking that as we leave the conversation with how you can start to lean into that and look at where you may be giving up too soon, interpreting things as signs instead of leaning into other possibilities of what those challenges might be.
Yeah, it's kind of like the now what? This is happening,
Yeah,
now what? That's
right.
happening, now what? Am I going to
Yeah.
stop or am I going to wait for that red light? And for me, I think the big part of the actual practice is just asking myself the question, what's actually true for me right here in this moment? What's actually true for me, right? To go with the flow is one thing. However, right? Sometimes that's not what's true for me. And sometimes I really don't care,
Right.
right? But if everybody's saying, hey, do you want to go to a fast food restaurant or do you want to go to a nice restaurant? Well, if they're all wanting to go to the fast food restaurant, that might not be what's true for me, But if I want to go with the flow and it really doesn't matter, then that's a different choice. So checking in, what's actually true for me here? Right? Is this something I really want? Yes, no, yes, no. I do the yes, no a lot. Yes, no, yes. If I'm not sure, yes, no. Oh, I'm actually getting a no. Okay, cool.
Mm.
Right? And the what's actually true for me here with what's going on in the world. What's actually true for me here? Right? And checking in. And so that's how I do my check-in a lot, is what's actually true for me here. It's going to be different than what's true for you, and I would hope it is, right? And sometimes it's not. We're going to have the same thing. But
Mhm.
yeah. But that's what to me is a lot of being authentic. What's actually true for me here? All my friends are wanting to do that thing. Okay, cool. What's actually true for me here? Yeah. Cool.
I love it. Such
Me
a
too.
great
I love
conversation.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you, Kim. Love everyone who's listening. And
Awesome.
thank you for the contemplation.
Awesome.
Until next time.
Next time, Kim and Veronica of Energetics.